Did you know for animating a head turn, there are two essential pieces? There's arcs and posing. You need these, but how do you actually use them in a head turn? This video breaks down where and how you actually use them so that you can create that smooth animation that you are craving for your head turn. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Sarmolka. And if you are coming back after watching the first part of the series, welcome back. Now let's get started with posing. Posing is all about setting your keyframes up. It is figuring out whether you're starting on the side or if you're starting on the front view, if you're starting on the quarter view. Pretty much you're figuring out where you are starting and ending with figuring out your posing. And in your posing and setting your keyframes, you are going to be figuring out where you can add a little bit of personality and a little bit of acting to your character. Because think about it for a moment, when you turn your head from side to side to side in real life, are you turning your head without any expression? No, it looks robotic. But if you add in a blink, an eyebrow raise at the beginning, add a blink midway through your turn, and choose if your character needs to whip their head around to back on the thing that just made a huge loud noise behind them, or if it was just a noise, your character is just turning their head to see like, oh, what was that? And this is where you start getting into adding a bit of acting to your character and not just personality. You want to use the reason why your character is turning their head as a springboard for what kind of expression you can add. Does that make sense? If you want, you can use my poses here that I've used for this character head turn, and you can take a look and see what I'm talking about. You have your start frame and you have your end frame. And at the start, she's starting in this pose, right? And then at the end, she has an entire expression and reason. And then in between, you get that blink, you get that exaggeration, you have the whipping around because she definitely heard something that surprised her. And that is what we end on. That's the character head turn. But even having these key poses planned out does not make everything perfect in your head turn, because now you get into the second thing that really brings your character to life when you're making a head turn, and that is the arcs. And the reason why arcs are so important in the head turn is if you think back to that example of moving my head robotically back and forth, like this, side to side to side, and it doesn't do anything. But every single thing in life moves in arcs. Just look at how my hands are moving right now. When I'm doing it almost in a circle, like it's in an arc, while I'm gesturing. Bees move in, bzzz way, right? And that's an arc. And it's the same thing with your head, that where if you swing it around, it makes a huge difference. But I will say it's a little difficult planning an arc in a head turn because you make it too wide and the movement's too big, too exaggerated, and it doesn't look normal. Make it too small and you don't see anything. And there's also the question of how do you even make the head follow its arc, because you can't attach it to the middle of the face. There's no way for you to keep your head going because it's this big thing. And I've got a very simple solution to all of this. And the easiest way to make the arc for your head work best is that you're going to want to draw a reference arc. Don't try to do it from memory. I've been there, I've done that. Memory is great, but it does fail you sometimes. But if you have a reference arc, like this green line that I have for mine, then it makes things a lot easier. And you don't want to just put it on your face, because that's not going to help. That is not going to work. You need to attach it to a certain point on your face so that you get the best and the easiest and the fastest workflow that you possibly can. In my case, I'm attaching it to the chin because it is a hard surface, and I also know that the face is going to be leading with it. So every single pose that I have is going to have the chin stay in place. Well, not stay in place, but it's going to attach to the chin, so the chin is moving on that arc. Once you know your poses and your arcs, and you're ready to jump into the next part, which is of course the most fun part, which is animating. And in this part, you're going to find out how that character sheet that you created in the first part of this series actually comes in and gives you an ace up your sleeve so that you can move faster when creating your head turn. If you enjoyed this video, remember this is part of a series. If you don't want to miss anything, please subscribe, like it so that I know that you actually want more. And I hope that I get to see you in the next video. I'll see you next time.